There is a certain system in Raid Shadow Legends which I kind of undervalued, and that is the clan quest system, right? You're able to pick up stuff every week. I think it's like every 5 days, actually, not even a whole week. It might actually be 7 days. Anyways, you're able to pick up these quests and get yourself some clan gold, right? The quests themselves are pretty easy, and they're not really what's the main focus of the video. It's what you can get out of actually finishing them up, right? So usually you would just rather pick anything, like 3 quests that you are able to easily do, because the real reason behind this whole thing is just to accumulate as much clan gold as you possibly can, because then in the clan shop you're going to be able to get so much good stuff, right? So today we're going to be looking at what you're able to use your clan gold into, and especially whether if it's worth getting the 2 champion fragments you can get out of the clan shop by themselves, right? So you have Yannica over here as well as Yakarl the Scourge, right? Is it worth actually buying the whole 100 fragments for every single one of the champions, or would you rather use your clan gold elsewhere to boost up your progress in the game, right? So let's go into it. Before we do so, please go ahead and check it out if you haven't done so yet. It's going to be allowing you to get yourself massive amounts of bonuses whenever buying anything in Raid Shadow Legends. You're going to be prompted to pay through the Aptoide wallet, which is going to in turn get you a massive bonus. It can go from extra 10% of any amount of money you're spending all the way up to an extra 35% of that much money in the form of a cashback. And the good thing about this is that once you do have enough of the bonuses, you're going to be able to use them to make the payments for you instead of actually using your real money, right? So you're saving up in future purchases as you're buying things anyways, which you would otherwise be buying naturally, and then you're able to just get more stuff for free, right? We'll cover this more in depth at the end of the video. For now, let's keep going. Now, the clan shop does reset every week. It's going to be doing so on Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on where you are at. Basically, it's going to be just lining up with whenever the quests are going to be resetting, right? So over here, you're going to be able to grab the quests onto the clan section, and that's basically going to be having the same timer as the clan shop, right? Now we can go over to the clan shop from the clan tab as well as from the market itself, right? So if you want to join my team in Raid Shadow Legends, click the link in the description to get a free Narma as well as Anax, Uugo, and Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. Here's what you need to do. First of all, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Then click the link in the description and register a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial, and then go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get a fresh start in Raid with a free Narma and 3 epic champs. Click on my link right now. What's in the clan shop? We can see the item pool right here, which is going to be different depending on the week, right? So there is a chance of, for example, in slot 2 to have energy or 3-star chickens depending on that week, right? Now there is also, as we already mentioned, the champion shards as well as the skin shards over here, which will be switching to something else whenever you have actually finished buying these shards, right? So let's say you want to be buying this skin for the Arbiter. If you do so, eventually once you do finish it, it's going to be transforming into 4 to 5-star accessories. The prices are not specified over here, but same kind of thing is going to be happening here with Yannica, for example. It's going to be switching to 4-star glyphs, and then Yakarl is going to be switching to the max tier of the potions, right? So yep, there we go. We can see literally everything that's up here for grabs. Now, of course, some stuff is going to be deck or rather gated behind the level of your clan. So in any case, being in a good clan is always going to be pretty much a must, right? You need to be in a clan that's high level, active, etc, etc. That goes for literally all aspects of the game. Now, how you get a lot of gold? The clan quests are going to be a source of gold, and the higher tier of quests you're able to do, the more gold you're going to be getting. But most of it is actually going to be coming from doing stuff like, for example, the Chimera, opening the chests from the Chimera, I think, as well as the Hydra. It's going to be coming with a lot of that clan gold. In fact, I don't know yet, you can see it over here, right? The lowest tier, the easy, on the easiest chests is going to be getting you between 220 to 250 gold per chest. Usually you're going to be getting 2 of these if your clan is killing this level of the Hydra in particular, let's say. Now, if we go, actually the Chimera, if we do go to the Hydra, we can also go ahead and check out, actually, you're going to be getting quite a big bunch of clan gold as well right here, right? So, doing this type of content is going to be your main source of the clan gold. Now, going back to what is going to be worth using it on, right? Let's go ahead and check out, first and foremost, the 2 champions you're able to get from this and see if it's worth actually buying them. So, both Yannica and Yakarl have a 4-star rating in Hell Hades. They are both actually quite great in Arena, and especially they're going to be shining in Spider and Frost Spider. That goes for Yannica, and then Yakarl is going to be decent in Dark Fae. That is in general according to the Hell Hades reviews. So let's go ahead and just check out these champions in particular. Yannica is an attack champion from the High Elves faction who has the following: an A1 with a double attack, single target, each hit having a chance of applying a debuff, not scaling up from that 50% chance, and then an AoE attack 2 times instead of the champion is under a Bale buff, right? So this skill can be turned into quite a good AoE attack, which is why she has quite some decent reviews for Spider in particular, if there is the Bale debuff. Now, the Bale debuff can be applied with the A2 over here, right? A single target attack, which is going to be placing a perfect Bale buff on this champion for 2 turns if the attack is critical. This being an attack champion, you're going to be usually wanting to have 100% crit rate, so that is basically going to be happening. And then it's also going to be giving the champion an extra turn if it is ascending all the way up to 3 stars. Can go down to 3 turn cooldown, right? So she's going to be having this Bale basically for literally almost every turn, except there's going to be a gap between the buff expiring over here. Actually, once you do ascend it, it is going to be a 3-turn Bale. There we go. So it literally is 100% uptime unless there is some buff removal or buff stack reduction from the enemy. 100% uptime on a perfect Bale on her, which is going to be reducing the amount of damage she's going to be taking, as well as being untargetable and stuff. That is why she's quite great in PvP as well in particular. And then finally, her A3, it is an AoE attack which will ignore shield buffs and remove shield buffs from target if this champion is having the Bale buff active on them. Then also dealing extra damage based, or rather equal to 15% of the value of the shield buffs that she has removed. Quite conditionally great. If there is no shield buffs involved whatsoever, it is just going to be another AoE hit. But if there is actually any shield buffs whatsoever in any situation, right, this will be quite a great skill. In fact, just removing those shields is going to be extremely useful rather in many PvE bosses, as well as of course arena in general, right? So there we go. It's going to be down to 4 turn cooldown, just a big heavy hitter, which is going to be doing quite an a decent amount of extra damage based off of that extra damage of the shield buffs removed, right? And finally, she does have an aura with ally attack increase in all battles, just an aggressive option as a champion, which is going to have quite some place in PvP. So definitely a good addition for your PvP roster if that's something you're interested on. I would definitely like having her, especially for tag arena. I'm not sure if I would definitely be using her on my classic arena team right now. And as a champion for PvE, I don't know, besides that usefulness in Spider, maybe just for the buff removal and the shield removal here, I will potentially be using her in some avenues, but I already have champions that do this, right? It's just another option for an AoE heavy hitter. I do have my Alice over there, so I don't know how they would compare. I think Alice brings a little bit more to the table than Yannica does. This perfect Bale buff, though, definitely great, but it's mainly going to be useful in arena. Yakarl itself is an attack champion from the Barbarians faction. He is Void Affinity, right? That's something we didn't actually check from Yannica, who happens to actually be from the Spirit Affinity, as you can see right there, right? So Void Affinity, really damn powerful and important in many situations, right? What he does is the following: A1, double single target attack, each hit having a chance to apply a freeze debuff. As you can see, this champion is going to be a lot about control. Now, this is will also be ignoring 25% of the target's defense if the enemy is already under the freeze debuff. So applying freeze debuffs, control, and then just doing a little bit of extra damage. Not going to be applying the freeze debuff to pretty much any boss whatsoever, but it's going to be quite handy for PvP, as well as, of course, just clearing any other sort of stages. Now, this chance of applying the debuff can go up to all the way up to 50%, so that's nothing crazy, but yeah, it's all right. Then the A2 is a single target attack with a big chance, which can go all the way up to 100%, of applying a decreased speed debuff only on a single enemy, but it's going to be for 3 turns, and then also applying a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Again, not going to be applying the freeze debuff on the bosses, but great in PvP. Then also going to be stealing 100% of the turn's meter, of the target's turn meter actually, which is insane for bossing in general, right? So there you go, you have another option for a turn meter decreaser, but it's going to, of course, be on an A2 with a 3-turn cooldown when it's fully maxed out. And then he is of the Void Affinity, right? So there's not going to be any weak hits on any bosses. He's quite great in general, just as an off sort of turn meter decreaser if you already have somebody like Armiger or whatever. But anyways, he's a lot of affinity, so that's always going to be happening if you have enough accuracy, right? That's also a guaranteed. And then also placing an increased speed buff on this champion for 3 turns. One of the strong version, right? 30% increased speed. And finally, ignoring 50% of the target's defense if under freeze debuffs, right? So a very heavy hit with a lot of effects, decreased speed, also stealing the turn meter, applying the freeze, doing extra damage if they're frozen. Yeah, single target decimate ability, right? But unfortunately, it's only single target. And then finally, we have an AoE attack over here on the A3 with a 75% chance, actually not scalable, of placing a freeze debuff for one turn. There we go. You can control so many avenues of PvE, and both PvE and PvP in general, with this ability. Then this chance is going to be increased to 100% if the targets have high turn meter, meaning that you can guarantee yourself a freeze if you land this thing at the right time. And then this debuff cannot be resisted if the targets have 75% or more of the turn meter, meaning that it's not just going to be 100% chance of applying, but also unresistible. So yes, a lot of control. You could basically play this guy as a support, sort of, just applying a lot of freezes. This is going to be going down to a 4-turn cooldown. The freeze is only going to be lasting for a single turn, unfortunately. But anyways, a lot of control coming from this guy. It's going to be quite short to have this on a 4-turn cooldown. Also could be very much usable in something like Spider, but really, I don't know if you would really be wanting to spend all these gold in the clan shop just to have another control champion on the Spider. Anyways, he does have a place in my team for sure if I had him, especially for PvP as well. And finally, he does have the passive effect on a 3-turn cooldown over here, which is going to be the following. Increases the damage this champion inflicts by 10% for each champion in the battle under a freeze debuff. So the more freezes, the better he's going to be. And that decreases damage the champion receives as well by 10% for any other champion under a freeze debuff. Now, when he does, or it says champion over here, I'm also assuming it's like any other enemy in PvE, right? Even though it's not a champion, let's say a spiderling, right? Then the active effect over here is also going to be something, it's like double dipping here into a passive and an active actually. Places an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn whenever they kill an enemy under a freeze debuff. There we go. So that's why the passive effect can only be triggering every 3 turns, but they're going to be able to switch in and out of getting an unkillable debuff, or rather buff, every now and then whenever they're killing somebody with that freeze debuff on them, right? So a lot of synergy with the freezes, of course. He's going to be applying them easily throughout his whole kit, and then he's going to be benefiting from it as well, massively, just doing extra damage to the decreased defense, as well as the turn meter decreases and stuff like here from the steals over here, the irresistible freezes over here as well, with the synergy on the turn meter field on the enemies. He does have quite an interesting kit. Now the real question over here is it worth spending all the clan gold here, getting these 2 champions and not buying pretty much anything else? Although you will eventually be able to accumulate enough gold to also be able to afford other things, but initially as a new player is going to be taking most of the gold you're able to accumulate for yourself. Now, so I'm going to tell you my 2 cents here as a player who's gotten to the 90 days logging in mark just today. I just spent 3 months at this point playing Raid Shadow Legends, right? So yes, as you can see, my progress on getting these champions is like about halfway over there, not even. I've got about 40 something shards on both of them. I think I do have a little bit more on Yannica than Yakarl. I didn't have enough gold to buy both of them, as you can see over here, right? So is it worth it? It's going to be taking you, I don't know, what is it, like 6, 8, between 6 and 8 months to get them, right? Something like that, depending on how much gold you're able to accumulate. It is quite a lot of time, right? And in that time, you are going to also be able to, if you're not buying these shards, buy other stuff like extra silver, which, as you can see right here, I did buy a little bit of. Extra chickens, which are going to be definitely coming in quite handy. I don't know, about 300 gold for a 3-star chicken. I wouldn't really be buying that, but there's also the option of sometimes getting the energy over here. I think it's like 100 energy for the same price, 300 gold. That can be quite clutch for many events, right? Having that. Then there's also the option of buying accessories between 5 and 6 stars for only 140 gold, right? Accessories are really hard to come by early on if you're not really able to clear decently high levels on the Spider. Having access to accessories through these is going to be quite important if you are just rolling in lucky. Of course, that's also the case. You can get like any type of faction over here. It is also a type of accessory which comes with the added bonus of having Revenge effect active, which has a 5% chance of counter-attacking when hit. So it's like even better accessories than normal. And then we have other options like the skill tomes, which in this case I did buy myself into because it was only like 500 gold. I wouldn't really be bothering with buying like stuff like the Bruise 2-star chickens. The blue skill tomes could be alright if you're really like leveling somebody up and you're like running out of those at some point, which could definitely happen when you're pushing in the high tiers of content and you don't really get that many blue tier skill books anymore. There is also legendary skill tomes. There is also the rerolls over here. The 5 to 6 star skill stroke artifacts, also pretty damn good. I wouldn't really be buying the stuff over here for the forge. I don't know. There is also sometimes the void shards that you can see over here, which are going to be taking the spot of what we have right now, which is the 4-star chicken, which are going to be like 900 gold, right? I would be buying those void shards for sure, right? So there's a lot of very well worth stuff over here, which is going to be coming, of course, in certain sets or rather refreshes of the clan shop. It's not guaranteed that they're there every single week, so you cannot really count on them every single time, but there is well worth uses of your clan gold that are going to be boosting your overall progression probably a lot more than buying these 2 champions themselves anyways. Now, I've been buying them because I really didn't really know better, and I do think that I will have uses for them anyways because I'm going to be using them most likely for PvP. I'm finding some niche uses somewhere here and there, so I'm already committing to them. But if I knew a little bit better, maybe as a new player, if I did get myself into a decent clan which was able to get at least, I don't know, as many options as I do have right now, and I was able to have access to this match clan gold, of course, because I've been doing a lot of the Hydra in particular, which gets me a lot of clan gold and just the quests and all of that stuff. I do have a little bit of a surplus of clan gold at this point, right? Now, by the time this refreshes, I'll be dumping a lot of it in these 2 fragments, but anyways, it's gonna be quite enough to at least be able to afford some extra stuff. I do think that you are probably better well off not buying these 2 champions fragments right off the bat if you are going to be benefiting more from, for example, spending a little bit, especially in that energy during events, if they're going to be netting you some good stuff like participating in some dungeon divers, some fire night tournament like we have right now. You need some extra energy, good to go ahead and buy some of that stuff. Especially good if you buy some shards, some high tier chickens, especially the skill tier, the skill book tomes here, insane value, right? So I don't know, it is kind of up to you really. This is my 2 cents. If I was going to be doing this whole thing over again, I would probably still be buying the shards, but I would personally also be valuing other things like accessories in particular. In fact, I think I'm going to be buying a couple of these, just see what I roll. For example, actually, I don't know if I can click on those in time to see it, in barbarian accessories and stuff like that. Yes, you can roll into some pretty good stuff if you do a little bit of spending in that sense, right? So be mindful of the value you can actually get out of this clan shop, or rather the whole gold system. So that is it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Before you go, please go ahead and check out Aptoide Yannica. So yet again, as I mentioned, you're going to be able to get massive bonuses whenever buying anything in Raid Shadow Legends through Aptoide, getting from 10% of extra value of your money over here in the form of the bonus, all the way up to extra 35% of that much money, right? So the good thing is, again, what you can do with the extra bonuses is use them to make the payments for you instead of actually using your real money once you do have enough of them accumulated into your Aptoide wallet, as you can see right here, right? You can also input my promo code right here, which is going to be allowing you to get yourself an extra 5% bonus from the get-go in Raid Shadow Legends once you do have enough of the bonus, as well as just going to be running forever. The code is going to be somewhere up here in the screen as well as in the description. And if you go ahead and check out the link down there in the description as well, it's going to be allowing you to get yourself just set up real easily. There's going to be a video explaining how to set the whole thing up on your Android devices, like an emulator on your PC like BlueStacks, or for example, just your Android phone is going to work on iOS, unfortunately, right? So that's literally the whole video, guys. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. See you.